Tommy, can you hear this? I'm about to put my fucking fist up in your mom. About to put my penis up inside and then I'll come. Oh my god, I'm gonna get sexy on your dad. I wanna put my penis inside of him and turn to fag. Oh my god, I wanna eat his pubic hair out. I wanna scream and shout. I put my fucking lips inside his mouth. Oh yeah, no, just kidding. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Honestly Podcast, the podcast that's on my Patreon with Tommy NC 2010 and me. This is part one of the podcast. We will have part two in full up on the Patreon. So for all you patrons, don't worry, you're not getting shafted. You will hear the whole episode up on Patreon, but we're going to do 20 minutes or so here live, so enjoy this little tease. It's been a while, and of course Corrupted Podcast is coming up tonight, so look for that. Tommy, what's up, baby?
Put your penis up inside my mom? What the hell, Joe?
Well, no, I wasn't saying you. I didn't say Tommy. I wasn't even inferring it was about you. I was just kind of saying random shit. You know, like your mom, like, you know, like the listener, like when you're like, oh, you know, you're gonna shoot your mom or whatever. It's like I don't mean not you. Yeah, I didn't mean your mom. I mean,
okay.
Which one too? I mean, there's two of them.
You know,
I would preferably bang the skinnier one.
Wow, Joe, like that's just you're wrong in every way. Sometimes,
in every way.
Sometimes you just like diagonally and vertically. You're wrong.
Yeah, man. Well, she's a little too diagonal for me, and that's why I'd go with your other mother. But no, Tommy and... No, I'm just kidding. Both your mothers are lovely. I'm joking. My mother's a heifer myself. But no, Tommy NC 2010, and here we are, Honestly Podcast, which I thank you for hitting me up for today, because if you had not messaged me, I would have gotten lost. I would have continued... Well, I was hanging out with the kids. I was doing stuff around the house. I had to order pizza because I couldn't get food made. I was doing all these things. And yeah, I was just losing track of the day. And luckily you hit me up. I'm glad that you did, so I could get this.
And really, like sometimes a man is truly lost when we can't cook. Like it's, you know, and then if we can't cook, we're like, you know what? I'm just getting takeout. Or I'll tell you a story. One time I tried to cook grilled chicken on the stove. And I left it on too long, and it just it went black. The whole entire chicken went black. Like my apartment filled up with smoke, and I had to air out my apartment. And the smoke was so thick, it was that white smoke, you know, just the white clear smoke.
Yeah.
And I was letting it clear out. Well, next thing I know, I get a phone call from my landlord. She's like, Tommy, did you set something on fire in your apartment? I say, no. I was cooking some chicken and it burnt. And she is like, well, you just need to be careful when you cook, you know, in your apartment, because, you know, a lot of the other people in the building were complaining that that there was smoke coming out of the building.
Oh my God. You almost lit the building on fire.
Anytime I cook chicken now, I put it in the oven now.
Oh, yeah. Well, even in the oven, it could smoke, too. It's like I've had that smoke go through the whole damn room before, yeah. Even with that, you know?
And I hate it. The most embarrassing thing is when your fire alarm goes off. And I'm like, oh, God.
Oh yeah, that dude. That is the dude. I don't know if you know. I don't know if your dogs ever did this, but dude, my dog, or my dogs now, but Melly especially, the lab, when the fire alarm goes off, the lab is kind of scared, but she doesn't. She looks around. When the alarm goes off, Melly freaks out. Like freaks out. Like it's almost like it's torturing her, and she thinks we're all gonna die, and she just begins going insane.
It's a natural instinct for a dog to freak out like that because it thinks that it has to save somebody, or it has to, get somebody away from it. Smells gas, or like dogs can pick up gas smells.
Yeah,
like they can, and dogs have literally saved people's life because the dog will like get the owner outside, and a couple seconds they'll realize that, oh my gosh, there's a gas leak in my house. I could have been dead. People have actually died because of gas leaks, in their house. A whole entire family on Christmas died because there was a whole entire gas leak in their house. They were found dead. The kids, the grandparents, all dead because of this gas leak.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Yeah, every year those stories. I mean, it's not even it's the carbon monoxide. That's the worst thing is that type of shit. Like, you can smell the gas, but carbon monoxide, that's why you got to have a detector. In your apartment, in your house, and even if the thing says it does both, I always buy an extra one. You know what I mean? Like on the floor, I always say have an extra one on every floor, no matter what. Throw it somewhere on the wall in the corner, throw it in a drawer, whatever you got to do. Put it somewhere, because if the other one fails, at least that one will go off. You have two chances of picking up the carbon monoxide.
You mean a drawer?
What did I say?
You said a drawer. A draw.
Yeah, drawer.
Sorry, I'm not trying to pick on you, Joe. I sometimes can't say certain words. Like I say specifically. Like and Hamza
you say specifically.
Yeah, specifically this happened. Like, but then Hamza's like, "What do you mean the Pacific Ocean?" I'm like, "No, I'm just saying Pacific." And he's like, and he hates how I say Valentine's Day. He really hates when I say Valentine's Day.
Yeah, no. Drawer is one of those things that I do say wrong. It's actually funny that you just said that, because I don't think anybody has ever corrected me on that. Like,
I mean, I don't mean to. I'm not trying to pick, as you say.
But Tommy, do you know why that I said it like that? It's because it's the Boston accent.
Yeah, sometimes accents. I'm not saying that accents make you. I'm not saying that you're dumb at all. Like, I'm just saying accents will actually dumb people down a little bit.
Yeah, because you start creating your own dialect and not sounding the words right. Southern people do it. Southern New York, Boston.
Y'all, I mean, I get that every single time. Like, if I'm walking out of a place, somebody says y'all, or howdy there, and I'm like, hi?
How you doing there, y'all? Yeah, we're going down to there, like there. And dare, it's not there, it's dare, but D-E-R-E? What are they saying?
Or somebody says, how y'all doing there? I mean, how are you doing there? Like, I know I can guarantee, like, if it's I know I'm in the South. Of course, I've lived in the South since I think 2004. I've lived in North Carolina, and I sometimes accidentally will pick up some Southern dialogue.
Yeah,
it's like
can't help it.
When I've been to New York, I always can tell the different accents, like the different accents, dialogue. I always can tell the difference sometimes. And I've learned that you can't ask for a sweet tea in New York. They'll look at you and be like, "Well, honey, you can have an iced tea." And I'm like, "What about sweet tea?" And they're like, "We don't have sweet tea. I can give you some sweetener." Seattle, Washington.
What is sweet tea? Is tea? Is that tea with sugar in it?
Yeah, tea with sugar in it. It's like sweet tea.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Iced tea apparently is just like the form. And I'll just say this: in in New York and Seattle, Washington, it's iced tea. That's how it is. And I'm like,
is it cold? Is sweet tea cold?
Yeah, sweet tea. Both of them have ice in it. Both of them have ice in it.
We just say ice. Yeah, we say iced tea here. That's all we say.
Iced tea. Okay. Because you guys are Northerners. You guys are Yankees.
Sure. You call me that, though, I'm gonna punch you in the face because I hate the fucking Yankees.
Oh, you're not a. I thought New Yorkers and Bostonians are Yankees.
I'm talking about the baseball team. Yeah, Tommy, the New York Yankees. I hate them.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about the baseball team. That's what they call Northerners.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, you are right. I just don't like. I hate the word. Now I don't like being the Yankee because I
the New York Knicks.
because we don't like. Yeah, it makes me think of them. But I mean, we did settle here first. Like Massachusetts is one of the first places. You know what I mean? Plymouth,
Yeah.
all that shit, Plymouth Rock, all that stuff. Whatever. But no, whatever. Massachusetts is one of the first places. So I always say that when people make fun of Boston accent, I always go, "Hey, we're the first accent, assholes." You know what I mean? I mean, what the hell?
I think that it's interesting that sometimes dialogue and accents will mess with people, and I think it's definitely interesting that how the different conversations and confrontations will happen. Sometimes an accent will make people actually talk lower. Like people a low talker,
Yeah, like that. Yeah, kind of like the Ron White accent, the comedian.
Yeah.
Kind of has a little bit
it's
of that.
like, I love one of his comedy bits. Like, speaking about fire, the fire thing, he's like, honey, that alarm goes off when that chicken's completely done.
Oh, man.
I do like Ron White. I think. But
yeah, I like him.
With a little bit with Ron White is a lot of his comedy is all about him being drunk, and he calls me tater salad. The dog calls me tater salad.
Tommy, are you aware that you have someone's trying to take your place? Bullfrog is trying to take your place on. Like he was on Monetized This last night.
Oh, really?
And he wants to be the new Tommy. You should you should watch Monetize This from last night.
I mean, I woke up. I fell asleep last night. And I woke up and I did jump in the chat and watch a little bit of the show.
We saw you in the chat and we didn't know. Yeah, because your text to speech didn't work and it sounded like you said you tied up your parents' house. Like,
no,
what?
I was at my parents and I just got back home this morning and they dropped me off and so I watched a little bit of the show. I'll take my headphones and plug them in because I sleep. How it is I sleep in my dad's office and my nephew sleeps in there also. And he has like a bunk bed, and so I sleep on the bottom bunk and he sleeps on the top bunk.
Wait, what's your nephew doing there? Is he like staying there for the summer or something?
No. My whole entire family lives at my parents' house now.
Oh, like your brother. Okay, I get you. Okay, yeah. I mean, I did that in my own
my
house.
family. My it's like one gigantic NC 2010 compound.
Wow, that's cool because before it was just you and your parents really for a long time.
And my brother, he lived in a different state, and so now we're kind of underneath one roof now. It's like, but me, I'm kind of like separate because I live in my apartment, so I'll go up on Fridays. I know I'm stepping away from Monetize This, but I got to be closer with my family and stuff like that because I want to be, it's in this time of matter where you don't know what's going to happen in your life or what's going to happen to your family. Family comes first. That's
You got to see your fam, man.
And at one moment I can blink and they both could be gone. Like I blinked and now both my grandmother and my grandmother are now gone. But luckily, I mean, they're still in my heart. I still love them so much. But since recently I found my biological mother, I have I have two half little brothers. I have a little sister now, and it's just insane. But no one's ever gonna replace my original Mima. She was she was so much to me, but I have a new grandma. I do have a new grandma now, and she has filled that part of my heart. But there's still a part of my heart where I deeply miss my original.
Wait, so now you have a new grandmother too?
Oh yeah,
wow.
It's uncles, apparently aunts and stuff like that. And I haven't even got a chance to meet them. I had planned.
Are they hot? Are they good looking? Is your grandmother hot? The new one?
She's a grandmother, Joe. She looks like a grandmother. Joe, you're just you're so rigged up sometimes.
Hey, Tommy.
Yes. Oh, fuck you, Joe.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, let me play. A donation came in. Let's
What
see
else we got?
Let's see what this is.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Tweet anything bad.
Bubbly? Look at this stuff.
I'll read it to you since you can't hear it.
A little bit of the bubbly.
That's it. Oh,
Tommy, hello Tommy,
in
what's
your
up you
butthole.
fat fuck autistic glutton faggot? Remember me? I was in your kitchen, butt-ass naked, cooking eggs. After having a foursome with both your moms and Debbie, they swallowed my kids. Such dirty whores.
Come on, man. Mike Hamilton, what the fuck, dude? Mike Hamilton.
Oh, by the way, what'd you think about what'd you think about Jericho losing the belt?
Yeah, Mike Hamilton said he was in your kitchen, Tommy. Is that true? We got to first answer that real quick.
No, he was not in my kitchen.
With your family and Debbie and everybody, he said. That's a lie. We were lying. Nice try. Mike Hamilton, that's a lie. What I thought about Jericho, thank you, Mike Hamilton, for the donation. And everybody for last night on Monetized This, by the way, that was crazy. We were back on the Joe Crone Show channel. We'll be back here next week, so remember that. We go back to the old channel next week. And Corrupted is tonight, live on the Patreon, and the rest of this podcast will be on the Patreon as well, so make sure you're a patron. Me and Tommy will do part 2 over there. We have a little bit of stuff to get to. All right, Jericho question. Yeah, I mean, we thought it might happen, so I was prepared for either way. I personally thought maybe keep the belt on him even longer, but I was okay with them deciding to give it to Moxley because, I don't know, it worked out. The crowd seems to love it. It's good momentum for him. I mean, he is going on a Fozzy tour, although the last time he went on the Fozzy tour, we thought he was going to leave, and he didn't leave. And this time, we thought he was going to leave again, and apparently he's not leaving again. So, you know, it's kind of funny. The guy is really committed to AEW. So, but I don't know. I think it's cool with Moxley.
I think what it is with there's a different taste to AEW because WWE was more like this clusterfuck, in my opinion. And so with AEW, it's more like, hey, it's like you can go do what you want. And then WWE is more like, we're going to tie you down. And this is how long and we're going to keep you. And if you want to go on your Fozzy tour, but, you know, you kind of, for the longest time, I didn't know Jericho did Fozzy. Like, I didn't, before WWE kind of actually, they didn't advertise it at all, WWE, that he was ever doing Fozzy. I had to look it up and realize, like, wait a second, that's Chris Jericho. And I'm like, why is WWE never, like, it's their responsibility to advertise their wrestler stuff.
Well, it's not, that's the problem is it's not. And sometimes they don't like the stuff. Sometimes they don't want.
I looked at Fozzy. There's nothing wrong with the songs. A lot of people say that some of the songs are not original for Fozzy. You know, like
I don't know which ones aren't original.
Let me go. Is that one of his? I think that's his intro music.
Yeah, there might be. Well, that's Judas. That's his song.
Judas says my mind. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Where? Judas says my mind.
That's not the lyrics, but it's close.
Sorry. Crystal has told me this also. I'll start singing a song, and she's like, Tommy, that is not the words to that song at all.
Yeah, right. Hey, you know, speaking of Crystal, do you know what, and this isn't to be, I'm not trying to be creepy with this. But I was watching Star Trek Picard the other day, and there was a younger girl in the show. And she was playing the kid of characters. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. Bottom line is the young girl reminded me of Crystal. And I said to Leah, I'm like, this girl looks like Crystal kind of. Like, I was like, wow.
No, I don't think Crystal's ever been on. She's not really famous.
I know, but did you know her when she was younger?
No, I never knew her when she was younger. I only knew her when she was kind of older.
Oh, okay.
How I met Crystal was I was in an internship at Montreat College, and
see that girl? Doesn't she kind of like look like Crystal as
a little bit,
in the show though? She looked more like, I was like, wow, this chick reminds me of Crystal. Like, it was so weird. I was like, doesn't that look like Crystal if she was like 11 or whatever? And Leah was like, yeah, it kind of does look like her.
Jeez,
see that?
So apparently, I'm hearing that this new Picard show is like has a lot of swearing in it. Apparently,
dude, listen, these people that love Star Trek have been yelling at me. They're like, "Who cares? You can't deal with swearing. Have your kids watch a cartoon." And I'm like, okay, but my my parents grew up watching the original Star Trek. There wasn't really swearing. I grew up with no swearing. You don't need swearing in Star Trek. That's not the point of it. And the point of it, too, is that we don't talk that way in the future. There's like a more advanced dialect and language. And in the show, they're like, you fucking asshole, and you piece of shit. And I'm like, watching Picard, and I'm like, what? Like, what is going on? And it's one of my complaints about the show, many complaints. And the funny thing is, people have been calling me, like, you know, some of the Star Trek crazy left-wing fans have been calling me, like, oh, you old fucking boomer or something. And I'm like, dude, listen, I'm all for swearing. Trust me. I couldn't give a shit. But this isn't... but
rat shit, bat shit, dirty old twat. 69 assholes tied in a knot.
Hooray! Lizard shit! Fuck! Yeah, but I'm like, if you only knew me, I'm like one of the most fucked up, crass pieces of shit ever. But Star Trek is supposed to be clean of this. And in fact, one of the people...
Star Wars has Star Wars, like, kept swearing? I think Star Wars... had swearing in it too.
They've mostly kept it out because it's Disney and they try to be PG or whatever. So they've mostly kept it out too. You know, but I mean, at least in the movies. But can you imagine if like Luke was in the movie with the lightsaber and somebody was like, "Bring it on, you fucking idiot." Like you'd be like, "What?" Like even in Star Wars there's no swearing. It's like something about it is really modern and...
They did say ass at one point. They did say ass, I think, at one point.
Really? Like, even that's weird. But, I mean, this stuff stands out in Picard. Because in TNG, it was such a sterile environment. I know you don't... I don't know how much of it you ever watched. Probably not a lot, but...
Not a lot.
Yeah, but it was... You know, I've had friends that told me they couldn't watch it because they thought it was boring. And then I've had people say, oh, I finally started watching it, and then I got into it. But I didn't... At first, when I always saw it, I just... saw them saying like, oh, set coordinates for 3-4, and I just got bored. But there's really good stories in Star Trek The Next Generation.
Interesting fact, the Michael Myers mask, Halloween, that's actually an outline of that actor's face. They took a molding of his face and they painted over it. And that's actually set coordinates 2, 5, 6. Get back to the Starship Enterprise.
Oh, yeah, Kirk.
Yeah, so that's when Kirk is, like, when somebody's running, a half-naked woman is running away from Michael Myers, it's, I will stab you with this knife and place it firmly into your body, back and forth.
My poor wife, she's dying in the pool.
I will crush your head like an egg and twist your neck sideways, and we have to get back to the Starship Enterprise, and then I will stab everybody in the Starship Enterprise because my soul is a blank, dark sarcophagi of mystery and wonder.
I think that about the Picard stuff, there's a part of it I like. There is, like, some of the show I really do like, but some of it is really bad, and it's not Star Trek, and I'm watching it anyway, but, you know, it's depressing, man. Tommy, you know, it's depressing to see Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Star Trek, and the list goes on, Terminator, and everything just always done wrong and ruined.
Yes,
and...
I had to admit that I believe that what is happening, like, recently with this new, I haven't even watched the new Terminator movie. Hamza went out and saw it. But
you know honestly, what that's about. You know,
huh?
Well, Tommy, what you're about to say is part of what I'll say to you too. Is the agenda is to kill everything you loved, so they can put forth the new regime, which is a lot of times women or something like their diversity. So, okay, the old character was John Connor. Spoiler alert, he's dead. Here's these new like lesbian people and females and everything. And Star Wars was like, yes, here's all the characters you like. Well, whatever. Look at these females. Go. You know, in Star Trek, the women in charge of the admirals. You know, back when you used to watch Star Trek, there would be like probably 7 male admirals and like 4 female admirals. There'd be a lot of female admirals back in the day, but so far on Star Trek Discovery and on Star Trek Picard, there's been like 7 female admirals and 1 male admiral, and he dies. So
you
like,
know, and here's
that's
the
the
bigger
theme.
problem is like with the social justice warriors with women, like for instance, I have not watched one movie I have not watched because she's a man hater apparently. The actress from you watched the movie also. It was a
Batman?
Marvel movie.
Oh yeah, the Captain America girl. Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Apparently, she said in an interview that all the male roles need to be replaced with women roles, and I'm like, so you're basically saying that Indiana Jones, you're supposed to say that Luke Skywalker, and basically Luke Skywalker has been replaced with a woman now, Finn. But they're not even going to go anywhere with Finn now because the Skywalker series is over.
Yeah, well, Finn's not a woman, but no, but on Last Jedi though, Tommy, I can break the whole thing in like real easy. It's like, first of all, Leia is superpowered, right? All the females are superpowered. Like Rey is superpowered. Leia becomes superpowered. She flies through space and everything when she's supposed to be dead. Poe is talked down to by the female purple-haired lady.
Oh, I despised her. Yeah. I honestly, I hated her character. Like, I feel like she should have been working with Poe, but instead she's like, no, you have a lower rank. I'm not going to work with you. And she sacrificed herself, but she made herself look like the hero. She didn't like to do a team effort.
It's a message. It's a reverse mansplain. It's a female splain. It's sort of like to say like, you men aren't always right. That's the point. I get the message, but it's like you're doing it with the main character. So they ruined Poe's storyline so purple-haired lady could tell him that. They also saved Finn, so the Asian bitch, I call her Asian bitch, she saved Finn to be like, love will save us, and I'll save the animals. See how gentle women are? You guys are always being crazy. Like, the whole movie is about that. And even in Star Trek Picard, every episode of Picard, there's a female yelling at him at some point. Like, whatever he thinks of is sort of wrong. He goes he goes off character a little bit, and then a woman basically goes, Jean-Luc, you know this and this and that and this and that. And then he's like, well, I didn't, you know. It's just always that. It's a message. It's listen, put the women know better. Stop it, guys. We've had enough of you. The family element is terrible. Don't be in a family. We want people broken up. We want divorces. We want no family unit. They don't want cohesive family units. All this stuff is to divide us, because the more they can divide that, the more they can get what they want, because stupid people is what they want.
One show that I really watch, I've been starting to watch now, is Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David.
Oh, yes. Tommy, I started watching that on the pilot. Almost fucking choked on water. On the pilot episode of 1999. I love you that you watch this.
And the one thing I think is interesting about Larry David is he always tries to argue with people. And I'm like, come on, Larry, don't argue about this. And it's like he pushes that level. What?
I was just laughing, thinking about it.
And like, I sometimes I have to stop the episode and like pass by the scene when he's really getting in an argument. And recently, because I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, I want to argue with people like Larry David. Like, I'm like, no, I can't do that. Like, sometimes when you watch shows where there's a lot of arguing involved, you want to argue like that person. And you know, sometimes there is realistic subjects in the show, like when the guy takes up 2 parking spaces, and he's really upset about that. And then the guy that took a vow of silence, you know, Larry puts a note on his car, and then all of a sudden he breaks the vow of silence and then rats on him.
You're watching season 8?
I also watched the one where they did Seinfeld, and like George was falling in love with his ex-wife, and Larry was getting jealous.
Dude, it's so weird to me that he broke up with his wife or whatever. But it's like, dude, Tom.
No, she left him.
Oh,
she left him because he was on the phone. He was with the repairman. And I was like, Larry, just talk to her for a second. But he couldn't. I don't blame him because he couldn't hear her. She was coming in and out, and all she was trying to say is, "I love you," but he wouldn't listen, and like that's all he. But the real Larry David doesn't actually do that. I would love to just sit down with Larry David and see if he actually does that kind of stuff. But
no, with Curb Your Enthusiasm, dude, I watched the first night they debuted it. I was watching HBO by accident one night, or something I was watching late night in, I think it was 2000 or 1999, one of those years. And I saw the pilot, and I loved it. I didn't know what it was, and it was a pilot. And then later the TV show came, and I've loved it ever since. But Tommy, I don't know if I ever told you about this. I've talked about this on the show before. We had Chris Tosevich come on and talk about this. In high school in 2003, we had a project. We had to make a 5-minute to 10-minute episode of a show we liked. Like, try to do
Oh,
it.
and you did Curb Your Enthusiasm, didn't you?
I did Curb Your Enthusiasm, and here was my idea. I had an idea that I had a friend coming over to paint my house with me, and my wife was mad at me.
Yeah.
And I have this on video still. We can show it at some point. And my wife is yelling at me, like, paint the damn house or whatever. And my friend comes over, and I go, hey, I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to go get my shoes, and we'll go out and do it. Well, he goes into my fridge and starts eating the food. And I come down, and my idea was, all right, I'll come down, and I go, hey, you're just going to go in my fridge, and you're just going to take food without asking? And then he's like, what? I was hungry. I thought you wouldn't mind if I went in your fridge. You don't just go into someone's fridge and start eating their food. And we do this whole thing about the food. Anyway, here's the story. In 2007, I think, or 2006, 7, or 8, or 9, I don't know what year it was, to be honest, anymore. One of those years, 6, 7, 8, or 9. I hadn't watched the show in about a year, just because, but I always go back to it and watch everything. But I hadn't watched the show in a year. I get a text message from Chris Tosevich, my friend, who was one of my first co-hosts on Joe Cronin Show. This is before the Joe Cronin Show. He texts me, dude, because I took that clip of the Curb Your Enthusiasm thing that I did for high school back in 2003, which I have the VHS tape, so you can carbon date it or whatever, and I uploaded it to YouTube. And for a year or two, it was on YouTube. My friend Chris Tosevich texts me, he goes, dude, they did it. They did your idea. They did the fridge. And I went, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, dude, they fucking ripped off your fridge. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, in the newest episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, you got to go watch it. So I turn on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David's in this guy's kitchen, and the guy's going through Super Bob. It's Super Bob, I think. He's going through Larry's fridge, eating something. And Larry's like, you just go in and you just grab whatever. And then Larry's like, here, take this. You want to take this? You want to take this? That's what I did in my video to a T. I was like, here, take this. You want to take everything? Take it. And they fucking ripped it off, Tommy. And now, I don't know if they ripped it off or it was parallel thinking, because, like, even the parking space thing, everybody knows about that. These are everyday things that happen. So maybe it was just coincidence, but they did it exactly the way I did it, but I did it in 2003.
The skip chat where you just walk up to your friend in the line and you start talking with them and you walk into there. People do that sometimes.
Yes, that was hilarious. I was like, I've seen that so many times. The other I filmed, but by the way, Tommy, I filmed another part of that episode. The other part of that episode was I was in the bathroom and the guy knocks, and then he goes, oh, whatever, and he goes in, and and my buddy's pissing, and he's like, what are you doing coming in here? And I'm like, I knocked. You didn't say anything. And he's like, I didn't know you knocked. I thought somebody walked into the door.
Was that the one where Larry was checking his penis and the guy walks in because there's no lock on the door?
No, this one, they never did this one. They never copied this one. I came up, and it was a little bit different. We came up with, it was called the double knock. This was something I wrote, so it was never on Curb Your Enthusiasm. The fridge thing, they stole. I swear to God, they stole the fridge thing. But no, the double knock, so he was like, no, you got to knock twice to make sure no one's in there. You can't just knock once. Like, you might not hear it. So, like, we start arguing about the double knock, and it was this big fight. And so when that happened, I was like, God damn it, I should have been a writer on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I noticed a lot of times on Curb Your Enthusiasm, there's famous actors in the show, but they don't play as their self. They play as a character on the show. And I'm like, why does Larry not just portray that? Because there's like the plumber will be an actor that you'll know from a show.
Yeah.
I think there was one actor that I noticed that was off another show that I recognized on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know him. Like, I've seen him on another show, and he's just playing a character. And I like it that Ted Danson's in there. I love seeing Becker.
Oh yeah, I love Ted Danson. Well, I think of him more from Cheers, but I did see some Becker.
I grew up watching. I grew up watching Becker when I was in high school. It would come on early in the morning. I used to love watching Becker because Becker was one of my favorite shows to watch.
That's pretty cool, man. I liked Becker though. I love Ted Danson, but and
this
there's
jackass.
A lot of guys.
You know what pisses me off even more? I live in a cheap apartment. I come in. I try to find my landlord, and then I can't get anything. This whole town pisses me off.
Now, Tommy, people tried to I took that video down. I do have it still, but it's on private. I took it down because so many people, it was 2009 that I uploaded it, but we shot it in 2003. And I remember people were trying to say like, "Oh, you're lying, why would you lie about this? You obviously ripped off Curb Your Enthusiasm, you're pretending that you did it." And I'm like, "Dude, I got the VHS tape from high school. The VHS tape is dated. It will tell you when I recorded this. It was 2003."
If you wanted to, you could try to find out how to get a hold of Larry David's agent.
Well, I think one of the writers might have seen it because I put it on YouTube and it got thousands of views. And this is the video.
What are you doing?
But the other thing about the video is you can see how young I am. Like I'm
Joe, you don't even look like yourself.
Yeah, I'm in high school. I mean, dude, this is 2003, and this is me comparing it. So I compared the scene. So this is like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 years later. 7 years later, my idea was used. So I don't care. I don't care that whether they ripped it off or not. It's almost identical. It's the verbiage that gets me. So you just go in and here, fine. Why don't you take some plums and peaches? Take everything. What you just help yourself? Jesus, like it's the same thing. But I sort of feel, even though like I didn't get paid and nobody cares, even if they didn't take my idea and they just had the same idea, that's possible. I feel happy that something that like the episode that I wrote for high school in 2003, that was good enough to really be on TV. You know what I mean? Like, so fuck it. I feel happy about that, I guess, but I feel like I should have been a writer somewhere or an idea guy on a show.
I think that if I didn't have what I have, with my disability, I think I would be a writer.
I think you could be an idea man because I can't tell you how many times you say stuff and sometimes you don't word it all the correct way, but then you go, "Oh, you're Tommy, yeah, what if you did that?" Like you're an idea guy like me, I think. Scar
is something that I really have wanted to make as a movie, and Vader Slasher, and I know people say, "Tommy, Disney owns that." And I'm like, I think, but it's not connected to he only wears a mask. And he's just a lunatic that wears this super glued mask to his face, and he goes around killing people. And I think that if I didn't have what I have, I could be a writer, and I could write sitcoms, or I could write horror movies, and stuff like that. And dude, I tried to make a horror script for MTV's Made, but they came to me and they sat me down. And they said, "Tommy, you can't do this. There's too much darkness in there. You have to make it a little bit light." That's what they told me, and I was like, "Are you serious?" It's always been my dream to make a horror film.
Yeah.
It's always been my dream, and now you're telling me my dream doesn't matter, but I have to make this soft, lovey-dovey garbage.
Do you want to make a horror film? You want to make a horror film with me? I'll make one with you. I went to school for this. Is what I went to school for. I'll do it. I'll do it with you for fun. We can sell it.
That would be good, Joe. That means, me and you would actually have to get together and sit down in person and actually make a script and build a budget, and we'd have to work with people and stuff like that and find actors that could be compatible.
What I would do first, Tommy, is I would come up with an idea. We'd come up with a basic idea, write the basic idea down. Then we would come up with a scene that we could shoot, that could come off really well, that could sell what we want to do. And once we show that trailer, sort of, then you look for backing to make the rest of it, to make the whole thing. And we see what the interest is. I would do that. With
Scar, I don't know if you've ever watched the full episode of Made and the whole idea.
Oh yeah,
about
I watched your whole Made a million times. Yeah.
Well, the whole theme of that character was that he was a guy that was working at an attorney's office, and he finds these documents where his firm is making sure that their mob guys are getting off, and they're actually really guilty, but they're hiding the information. And he sees this, so he goes to his boss And he tells him, he's like, if you don't make me partner and give me $10,000 as a promotion, I'm going to take this to the cops and you guys will be buried. And they're like, okay. So what happens is the boss calls his mob guy and says, hey, I got a guy here that's going to try to put me away. I need you to take care of him. And what happens is he says, go to warehouse 17. He goes there and he pulls up and he's walking around. There's these two guys waiting. He's like, am I supposed to look for you guys? And they pull a gun out of him. They shoot him. Well, they don't actually shoot him. They graze him and the bullet goes up through his face, big old scratch. And so they drive off thinking he's dead. And he gets up, and as he's walking around inside this warehouse, this pipe comes toppling down, and he's looking into it, and it shakes and it explodes like a fiery mixture, and burning the side of his face off. So a couple years later, he arises again, and he's Scar now, and he's going to find everybody. There was actually a love interest with the character also.
This is very close to the first Batman movie.
Well, with my storyline, sometimes I don't mean to steal stuff, but sometimes I do take a little bit of mixture of different things and I compile it to inspire into a story that that I want to create. And I don't mean to steal from anything. I know it sounds like Two-Face, but he has no personality of Two-Face. Scar is more vicious. He carries axes. He carries guns. And he has long hair actually. He's completely bald on the other side and has this long gothic hair where you can't see his face. And
it sounds like the first Batman movie, with Joker mixed with Two-Face. That's what this sounds like legitimately to me.
Well, I guess that they're they have a little bit. Scar has a mixture of those characters put inside of him, but he is his own entity. Scar himself is his own. He has as I said, if you remember in the episode, he makes we would try to make it funnier where he takes the two guys' heads and crushes them together, and he says, "Ooh, that's what I call a tight squeeze."
Oh my God, you're going for fucking Batman and Robin type of shit with that.
Well, no, Freddy actually did it. Elm Street actually did comedy too.
Yeah.
They actually mixed horror and comedy. They made it a horror comedy.
Oh my God. Hey Tommy, I'm gonna play a couple donations. People here want to say something. Let's see what they're saying. Hopefully it's not too horrific. But I'll split them with you. I'll split the donations with you. So fuck it. If they say something bad, well, you still get paid. So you know what I mean? All right, let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. We got some. And then we're gonna go to Patreon for part 2 of this. There's some topics me and Tommy had written down that we haven't even gotten to yet, and we'll get to those on the Patreon. But let's go ahead and see.
What else we got? Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Just a gallo de oro, the way the white man says it.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
That's it.
Something else Joe says is saw it. It's saw it. Fucking annoys me and makes me want to choke his dogs. You Yankee faggot.
He says saw it. Oh yeah. Elgal, yeah. I can't do it, man. It's the Boston accent with drawer. It's drawer, but it's like draw. Like we don't say the R's, really. So that's just probably embedded in me. But look at how I pronounce your name.
Shit
I hope
bomb.
you still love me.
I once had sex with a chicken.
Mike Cameltoe donates $5 and says he once had sex with a chicken.
That's twisted.
Yeah, that's weird. Mike Cameltoe. What do you think about women's camel toe, Tommy? In one word.
Have no opinion on that.
Yikes. Let's see what we got. Another one coming in here from well, no, it's not coming in yet. It's coming though. Mike Cameltoe, thanks for becoming a $5 ship. I'm here on the Afternoon Honestly podcast with Tommy and C22 and myself. Saturday, we got a little bit
What
left.
else we got? Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Bubbly? Look at this stuff.
What is this?
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
That's it.
Tommy's new YouTube video at the 8:05 mark, he swings his hips and tells girls to suck his ding dong. WDF Tommy.
What?
Subscribe to Patreon and get to the $10 tier or higher and Joe will send you a picture of his dick. I'm just kidding. Or am...
Deftones, thank you, man. Does Tommy really say that? I don't think he says that at all. Let's see.
What?
And I wouldn't push it if I were you.
Daddy's not that flexible.
I think we knew that.
Oh.
Can you touch your toes, Tommy?
Where am I living?
What am I watching?
Right now.
Hey Joe, hey Tommy.
Hey.
Have to say you are looking very good.
You are.
Keep it up.
Oh, Shell says, have to say that you are looking really good, Tommy.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Hey Joe, hey Tommy. Tommy is looking really good. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Shell. Took me and Shell a long time to forgive each other, Tommy. Maybe someday, we'll get there. We all have people that we all maybe never will forgive, but very appreciative. You know what I mean? To the chat, and back then I wasn't happy either with what was going on. So like I agree with you on that. But maybe we'll get there. But yeah, so thank you guys. We are gonna record the rest of this and put it up on Patreon. It will be episode part 2 of this. Will be up on Patreon. You'll get part 1 and part 2. So for the people watching live, thanks for watching. We're going over to Patreon now, and it will be uploaded though. We won't be live on Patreon, but we'll be uploading the audio in about in the next 30-40 minutes. It will be up probably. Do you want to eat crystals?
Hey, fuck you.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. Tommy, love you, man. And here we go. See you guys. We'll be on Patreon with part 2 of episode 15 or 14 or wherever we're on. It will be up in about an hour. Give it an hour. It will be up. Thanks for watching. Please check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show with me and Tommy's Honestly podcast. And tonight is the Corrupted podcast. So I will see you live tonight for the Corrupted podcast. We may start earlier tonight because tonight is daylight savings or whatever you call it. I don't know what you call it this time of year. But the bottom line is we lose an hour, everybody. We lose a fucking hour tonight. Not good. Remember to set your clocks back.
I was kept down last night, but I will not be kept down this week, Tommy. Because your yellow cracker ass is gonna get his whipped like the bitch you are. Your ass is gonna be my bitch, and at the end of the day so is Crystal.
Jesus.
See you Tuesday, you fat fucking slob.
Tommy, taking it back for the black, just said he's gonna take you in, Crystal.
I doubt that.
You're like a fucking Star Trek villain, like, I doubt that. I doubt that very much. Fire! No, okay, guys, we'll be on Patreon. See you guys in a minute. Thanks for watching. Thanks taking it back for the black.
Joe, do you mind if I run to use the bathroom real quick?
Yeah, take a break, man.